Now, the power for the month of December is life. And life is kind of the fuel that fuels all the other powers. But we're looking today at that power of love. Some people wonder, is Christmas really about love? I mean, if you watch TV, how many people here watch TV or listen to any kind of social media or listen to the radio or talk to any other people or are connected with any other human? Would you raise your hand? Okay. If so, this time of year, many people think is about material acquisition. It's about what can I get, what can I give, what is on sale, what can I give to so-and-so. And, that's all beautiful. But I really want to look today at the extravagance of love. That reading that I had picked out, Maniacs for Love, that comes from that poem, is really about Christmas is when we really truly express how we are maniacs for love. First of all, God is love. God is pure love, absolute love. The essence of God is love. You cannot do anything to get you away from that love that God is. That love lives in you. That love surrounds you. God loves you so much, there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's amazing. It's just full all the time. Full on. Over the top. Just crazy. Have you ever been really deeply in love? And married couples, I'm trying not to look at you because I'm hoping that you have been. I hope you still are. And remember how the birds sound even sweeter? The sky looks even more blue. The ocean at Kailua looks even more turquoise. Everything just looks better and feels better. Why is that? Love taps us in to that love that God is. God is speaking through all of these things that we see. So wherever you look, you can see God. Wherever you look. Srila Prabhupada, who is my Maha Guru, Srila Prabhupada could see God everywhere, in everyone, in everything, at all times. Consistently, always. And some of his disciples were questioning him about, isn't it amazing that you can see God everywhere at all times? He said, I think it's more amazing that people don't. God is speaking to us, loving us, speaking love poems to us at every moment, in every situation. We are surrounded with miracles. Miracles abound. They're all around us, all the time. Now, what is our response to that? Well, we are that self-livingness, that presence of God that is out picturing as us. We love God, and I'm just speaking for myself here. I'm all about God. I'm on what's called the bhakti path. The bhakti path is about pure love of God, devotional service. That's what my life is about. That's my whole mission. And because my life is about service, and all of us here are devoted to service and being in love, seeing that presence of God everywhere we go, we express love in our world. I remember years ago when I was in Israel, And so I was walking and exploring on my own, not unlike me, in the Arab district of Jerusalem. And I saw this little boy, and he was probably 3 years old. And I don't know what came over me, but I just wanted to see him. And he just had this anger. 3 years old. He had both fists up in the air. And he's like, arr. He had grown up with war. He had grown up with the sounds of bombs going off. He had grown up hearing gunshots. He had grown up with constant conflict and violence. He had grown up with survival. He had grown up seeing people die, and he was 3. Now, I don't recommend this. I don't know what came over me. I picked him up. All I could feel was the love of God crying out for love. We are not only this expression of love, we are each one crying out for that love. We're not only receivers, but we're givers. We're both. Are you feeling that love this Christmas season? Or is it a bit cut off? I'm raising some plants behind the monster house we live in. We have this little alleyway behind us, and I got permission to put potted plants out there that I love. And so there's this cheap garden hose in the back. And do you know what cheap garden hoses do? They kink up. You know, you pull on them, and then they kink, and then the water doesn't come out. Is that how you're feeling with love right now? Is it feeling like it's gotten kinked up? Is it feeling like the flow is getting shut off? Is it feeling like that presence of God, that flow of life, that flow of love is not happening like you know it wants to? Now, what I have to do with the garden hose is to patiently walk back and to unkink the hose so that there is a free flow. What is it that is holding your love back? What is it that is holding back your experience of love? There is no absence of love anywhere in this universe because God is love. There is no absence or lack of all that you need, and all the love that God is fully present right where you are. So if you are not experiencing that love, if you are not finding yourself in full expression of that love, I encourage you to go back and find where the kink is and unkink it. Now, one of the processes we use in this church is the quantum living process, to find the kink and to unkink it so that we can be all that we are truly here to be. However you do it, wouldn't you like to be the free flow of all there is in God? Eric Butterworth said, we are the inlet and the outlet of all there is in God. And I'm thinking that's true as long as there is a clear channel, as long as it's not kinked. Now, sometimes I've seen people just pulling stronger and stronger on the hose rather than going back to where it's kinked, just gently opening it up, getting it flowing again, rather than pulling and jerking and trying to force the world into your mold, why not open up the flow so that the love, the presence of God can fully flow through you? We need it. We all need it. And it comes in such unexpected ways. I want to tell you about our board. The board for Unity Church of Hawaii. Now, sometimes when ministers are talking about their board, it's not out of love. Sometimes they're crying because it's like, oh my Lord. Tears are coming to my eyes because we have such a wonderful board that is dedicated to service, dedicated to love for this community. I've had the opportunities to work with lots of boards, and some of you are watching. And I love you deeply. You know I do. You know I miss you. I love you. So please hear what I'm about to say in love. I have never felt so connected and in love with a board like I am with this one. We have trainings and we're working on this mission-centric focus, our integral ministry practice. And so we had, it was about 2 hours and 45 minutes training yesterday morning. And it was just people being honest and real and loving and respectful and creative and curious and collaborative and communicative, above the line. Everyone staying above the line, being the Christ. Being the Christ with one another. And I'm thinking, when people come from this place of collaboration, communication, creativity, being curious, being compassionate, when we all come from this place, there is no limit to what can be accomplished here, because we are coming forth as that presence of God without kinks. We are coming forth as this presence of God, full force, with that love that can flow. That is what we are called to. That is how we transform lives. That is how we inspire people to make a positive difference in our world. That is what we are about. To be in the free flow of God. To be in the free flow of love. When I was in 7th grade, I went to church camp in the Rocky Mountains. And they would put 2 7th graders in a raft by themselves without experience or much instruction and push them down the rapids. It was a great spiritual experience. We all felt closer to God. We all prayed a lot more. It wasn't long, and I don't know, I was with one of the honoriest guys at camp, and I don't know if he had anything to do with it or not, but as soon as the trip started, I was out of the raft. And I somehow knew intuitively and somehow had listened enough to what brief instructions they gave us to know that I needed to stay on my back, keep my face out of the water so I could breathe. Keep my feet first so I'm not banging my heads against the rocks, but I can see where I'm going. I have my head up and I have my legs in front of me to be shock absorbers against the rocks. Somehow, 7th grade, I knew to do that. As I'm going through whitewater rapids by myself with no raft. It was a great experience. I found that it was best to not try to fight the flow of the water. To go where the water wanted to go. The water wanted to go around the rocks. The water wanted to go in the deep channels. The water wanted to take me in the way that it needed to go. In the same way, God's love, if we will allow it, if we will ride it, if we will be it, if we will relax and surrender to the point where we're not trying to be in charge of everything, but we are embodying that love, that presence, that spirit that is God, we can ride it and have a great time. So that at the end of the ride, my partner says, "You want to get in the raft?" I had the ride of my life. Why not go with the flow that God is? I've been rereading the Christmas story, about Jesus being born and about Joseph naming him and about the angels coming down and, all kinds of amazing things leading up to this extravagant love. This extravagant love expressed as Jesus coming here. This extravagant love coming to us to help us to know the way, helping us to know the way of true love, of true service, of going in this flow of love and seeing all the world as love, treating all people with love. That's what Christmas is really about, is going with the flow, not fighting it. We like to try to control things. Would you agree? Would you agree we like to try to control things? And really, a lot of things are not in our control. But if we will just be in that flow, that love that God is, amazing things can happen. And you can show up in people's lives right when they need it. You can show up in someone's life that is hurting. There are people listening to us online. There are people here in the sanctuary who have been going through rough times. You've been going through grief. You've been going through, some of you, through trauma. Some of you, you've been going through some deep questioning. Just know that the love of God is carrying you. You are not alone in this. The love of God is supporting you and lifting you. Go with the flow. Know that there is a direction in this. Know that what happens is happening for you, not to you. Know that what is happening is God's presence lifting and directing you. Don't be afraid. That's what the angels say over and over and over in the Christmas story. Do not be afraid. Know that life is happening for you and that it is all love, because God's extravagant love is just that way. I invite you to take a deep breath. To center into this love, this presence that God is. We know there's only one power, one presence, and that presence is love. That presence is peace. That presence is hope and faith. That presence is life. I invite you for a moment of silent meditation as we just soak in that presence of love.